Hello there, Eagles. You are flipping in fifth with me, Mrs. G. Today we're talking about topic 15 and we're combining lessons 3 and 4 because they kind of have the same learning target. We just take it a little bit further in lesson 4. And today's learning target is I can identify and classify quadrilaterals. So save lots of room under your vocabulary because we have lots of different shapes and definitions you're going to need to write down. The first one is a parallelogram. Parallelogram is simply both pairs of opposite sides are parallel and equal in length. So this side is parallel with this side is parallel with this side, and they all have an equal length. A trapezoid has one pair of parallel lines. So you can see right here, it's just the top and the bottom in this shape that are parallel. A rectangle, well, that's a parallelogram with 4 right angles. So here we have what you would traditionally call a rectangle, but here you have what you would traditionally call a square. But a square is a rectangle because it has 4 right angles. And then here, a rhombus. Well, this is a parallelogram with 4 equal sides. So this, and this are all equal sides. And a square is a rectangle with 4 equal sides. A square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square. Why do you think? Well, it's like I stated before, a rectangle does not always have to have 4 equal sides. It could be stretched out this way or this way and have 2 sets of equal sides, but not all 4 would be equal. And in order to be a square, it has to have 4 equal sides. So how can you find the number of parallel sides in a quadrilateral? Well, quadrilaterals use pairs of consecutive equal angles that will have one pair of parallel sides. This figure here to the right has 2 pairs of consecutive angles. One pair is 155 degrees and the other pair is 25 degrees. So it must be a trapezoid. Now here with this one, quadrilaterals with pairs of opposite angles will have 2 pairs of parallel sides. So here we have congruent or equal angles and the same thing on this side. So this we obviously know it has opposite equal angles, so it's going to have 2 pairs of parallel sides. So here's one pair of parallel sides and here's one pair of parallel sides. So we know it must be a parallelogram. So sometimes several names can be used to identify polygons. For instance, believe it or not, this shape that you know as a square actually has many more names. The first one, a square, because we know all sides are equal. We could also call this a quadrilateral because it is a 4-sided figure. We could also call this a parallelogram because it has 2 pairs of opposite sides that are parallel and equal. And we could also call it a rectangle because it has 4 right angles. So how in the world can you think of all the different names used to identify certain polygons? Well, you always need to ask yourself, how many pairs of opposite sides are parallel? Which sides have equal lengths? And how many right angles are there? So try this one. There are 3 different names of this polygon. Can you go ahead and write them in? Pause the video and come back for the answers. Okay, coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, we know it's a rectangle because it has 4 right angles. It's also a quadrilateral because it's a 4-sided figure, and it's a parallelogram. 2 pairs of the opposite sides are parallel and equal. Remember, a rectangle cannot be a square, but a square can be a rectangle. So if you listed square on here, you are incorrect. Now it's your turn. For problems 1 through 3, use as many names as possible to identify each polygon, and then for 4 and 5, go ahead and just answer the questions. Pause the video and come back when you're ready. Coming back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, number 1 could be a quadrilateral, a parallelogram, or a rhombus. Number 2 is a quadrilateral or a parallelogram. Number 3 is a quadrilateral or a trapezoid. Number 4, which quadrilateral is both a rectangle and a rhombus, and how do you know? Well, a square is a rhombus because it's a parallelogram with all sides equal. A square is also a rectangle. And what properties help you classify a quadrilateral as a parallelogram but not as a rhombus? Well, both of the polygons are parallelograms, but a rhombus always has 4 equal sides. Now, you didn't have to have those answers word for word, but you kind of had to have the gist of it in order to get them correct. So go ahead and write down how many you got correct out of 5. Honestly, fill out that self-reflection. Could you teach a friend? Or are you still confused? And fill in the space for any questions you still have. Hope you enjoyed today's lessons on plane figures, and we will be back tomorrow with another one. Bye-bye.